Every 2 years, you, the citizens of Arizona, elect a new state legislature. Now find out a little more about these men and women who represent you.
The Senate will please come to order.
In this edition of Legislative Bios, meet Senator David Braswell. Senator Braswell is from Phoenix and has been in the Senate since 2010.
Legislative District 6 is an exciting district. It's a growing district. We have a very large voter base, and I'm very proud to be representing the constituents of LD6. We're a very proud people. One of the things that most people don't know about me is that I've sung professional gospel music for 11 years. I was a high tenor and did that through college. I'm originally from North Carolina, and my family was very musical, and we sang in church and played instruments and things, and just kind of continued that on. I've known Senator Linda Gray and former Speaker of the House Jim Wires for many, many years. And as an educator, I had some out-of-the-box thoughts about how we could improve public education and charter school education and private school education, for that matter, in the state of Arizona. I began giving them ideas, and I watched them and worked with them as they would put legislation together, and I began to learn, just like a student would, in watching them. And they would call me down, and I would discuss the issues with them. And then about 7 or 8 years ago, I was invited to speak before the House Education Committee, and then a few years later before the Senate Education Committee. And I really gained an appreciation for what the lawmakers do down here. Having come in as an appointed senator and now finding myself in an election, I've come in kind of quiet, but at the same time with no honeymoon period. And I began to devour legislation that is in the process. And I'm beginning to see that there are tweaks that I feel in representing my constituency that are very important. I have begun to talk to those voters in my district and get their feedback and try to internalize what their needs are and those issues surrounding that need. And I see my goal is to put forth possible solutions that would not compromise my principles, not compromise their principles in my district, but to allow us to stay focused on the future of Arizona. Provide communication skill training to all of us legislators down here. I sometimes feel taken aback by the sincerity and the emotion of many of the legislators down here, but there are times when we find that we're talking at each other as opposed to with each other. I think that's a good skill that we need to practice. I think it's a skill that would incorporate listening and being a good listener. As I walk my district, if you just stop and really listen to those that are sharing their issues and concerns, you will find that there's a lot of deep-rooted sincerity in what they're trying to say and how they would like for us to represent them.